Hello, welcome back, Pouring Nation. Today I have bit the bullet and I purchased a full gallon of Liquitex Pouring Medium. I have only used a little bit of this in the past just because it was so expensive, but Michael's had their 60% off. Normally this runs about $99, so this ended up costing me $40, which is about double my normal pouring medium, which is Glue-All, which is about $20 for a gallon. However, I have heard a lot of good things, especially that the pouring medium doesn't create cells like glue sometimes does and Floetrol definitely does. So we're going to try it today. I'm using my Arteza paints. I got these in a kit, a 14 color kit from Arteza. So far I'm very impressed. I have a video about the different acrylic colors and some of their properties and how tinted the paint is, or not tinted, how strong the pigment is in the paint, and Arteza was by far the biggest winner. I'll link that in the description above. So we're going to do a ring pour. Arteza colors, we have gold, silver, and ultramarine blue, and then we're going to do 1 part paint to about 4 parts pouring medium. I have an 8x10 canvas, 80 square inches, plus another 10 square inches, 5 and 5, and 4 and 4. So it's about 98 square inches. Divide that by 25, give or take, and that gives you about how much paint you need. So I need 4 ounces of paint. Probably going to be 2 full ounces of ultramarine, and an ounce each of silver and gold. Now, I like to weigh my paints, especially when I'm starting out with a new pouring medium, just to make sure that I get the exact same ratios in each one. I might have to add a little water just to get the consistency. I usually weigh in grams just because I'm doing it less than an ounce. So grams is approximately 28 grams to an ounce, if I recall correctly. So we're going to create all of these, and then we're going to do the pour. So the one bad thing about this big gallon is it's huge. It's kind of hard to get stuff out of. Today I'm just going to use one of my little cups and dip it in and pull it out, but I probably will transfer it to one of these empty glue bottles that I have. I just keep these when they're done, just that way so I can pour it out. It'll make it a whole lot easier. So let's get to doing that. So I want 2 ounces of ultramarine blue, which means if I want 4 parts of paint and 1 part of 4 parts of paint and 1 part of 1 part of paint, 4 parts of pouring medium, that means I have 2 ounces. I can divide that by 5 to get how many ounces that I need to make this, and then it'll be exactly half to do the other 2. So if I just do the math, again, fuzzy math, 30 grams per ounce. So I'm going to have 60 grams for the blue. 60 divided by 5, because I have 4 parts of one and 1 part of another, is 12. So I need 12 grams of paint and 48 grams of pouring medium. And then for these I'll need 6 grams of paint and 24 grams of pouring medium, if that makes sense. So we'll go ahead and do that quick. And I like to put the pouring medium in first. That way the paint is on top of the pouring medium rather than on the bottom of the cup where I have to scrape it out and I don't quite get it all mixed up. If the pouring medium's in first, the paint goes on top, then the paint doesn't get to adhere to the edge of the cup, and I get to mix it all. I don't have those little remnants of paint at the end. So that's why I do pouring medium first. Again, just to show you, this is kind of a milky substance. It dries clear, which is one of the reasons why I have been wanting to try this. Turn that on. This is not working very well. I'm not digging this. I'm going to have to definitely transfer it into, we want 48. Leak this all over, which I didn't want to do. So I got 48 of that. Again, I want 24 of these ones. Slightly over, which is just fine. Get rid of my stick. Okay, so we're going to do this first. And I'm having some troubles today. See how this is just sitting in there instead of being attached to the sides? Again, that's why I like to. So just doing a comparison on the how this mixes. Actually mixing quite easily. That's pretty much what I expect from a professional pouring medium, rather than my quote-unquote cheap pouring mediums. That's going to be about the right thickness too. I'm not going to have to add much water to that, which is surprising. Silver is definitely going to need a little bit of water. It's, you notice it piles really good. Don't quite want it that thick. It takes 2 or 3 seconds to. See, the blue is really thick. Not a bad thing. Just not quite as thick as I want it. Or a little too thick for my purposes. Tiny bit of water to each. I gotta admit, for mixing this 4-to-1 with the Arteza colors, it's still very bright. So I'm letting it mound. It mounds maybe 1 or 2 layers. You know, it's almost like it's making a mound, and then the paint that's landing on top is hitting the mound before the previous mound goes away. So that's a little on the thicker side. Not the thickest that I use, but for a ring pour, I want the rings to be distinct. So I like to have it a little bit thicker than normal. So we're going to do that. So I got a 9-ounce cup here. I think I want gold to come out last. Pour that in first. And some blue. While I was mixing, I also didn't get a lot of bubbles, which I usually get a lot of bubbles with Floetrol and glue. I don't know if that's the pouring medium or just how I mix, but normally I have much more bubbles with glue and Floetrol. Okay, so 9-ounce cup, about a little less than halfway full, which is kind of what I'd expect. one thing you notice as I'm pouring this, it's not landing exactly straight. It's making like a wiggly pattern. Again, that's because of how thick the paint is. It causes that to happen, and that is actually something that I like to see, especially in the middle of the painting. Stop right there and put a little on each corner. So see how it was nice and straight here, but right here it was coming out really wiggly. And I kind of like that in my pours, but that's kind of a personal preference for most people. I don't see a lot of bubbles. I'm just doing this because I know there's always some that I don't catch. Move these out of the way. Make sure that bakes it over the side. A little bit of blue paint that I shot out right at the beginning, causing a little hubbub over there. I lost the silver altogether. I mean, the silver kind of disappeared into the gold and blue, which is not, abnormal. But as you can see, there are hardly any cells. But I love the colors that I got there. I'd show you my fingers. My fingers are all blue sparkly because the silver and gold got attached. Make sure I get all my corners. And there we have it. Come in for a close-up now. All right, so we're going to go in for a close-up really quick here. As you can see, there aren't very many, bubbles at all there. But the silver kind of mixed and is underlaying, but as it dried, you'll see that pretty silver shimmery color come out along with the gold. But I'm really liking this. Like I say, the Arteza paints, I really like how pigmented they are. Your pouring medium goes a lot farther when you have really highly tinted paint, because then you can do more pouring medium to paint. Paint is usually the most expensive piece of it. Obviously, it's not the case here with Liquitex being double the price of Floetrol or glue. Really quickly, I want to show you one last thing about the Liquitex Pouring Medium. This has been drying for about 3 days now. Now I'm going to shine it here so you can see the light reflect off, but look how shiny that is. This is just drying normally. The Liquitex Pouring Medium gives you a great glossy finish, and I don't need to do anything to seal this or to give it a finish coat. I'm going to leave it just like that. Liquitex gives great colors. It is a little more expensive, but it is a professional pouring medium, so that's kind of what you'd expect. And it does make some really spectacular colors there.